Let's bring in our defence and security analyst, Professor Michael Clarke now. Hello again to you. Michael, as pretty senior officer here, what do we know about what's happened?
Only what we've got on the wires there, Sam. I mean, a three-star officer, Lieutenant General. It parallels a little bit what happened to Igor Kirillov last December. He was a three-star general who was assassinated just outside his apartment building in Moscow with a bomb in an electric scooter at the entrance. And the SBU, the Security Service of Ukraine, claimed the death at the time because they said he was the head of the chemical, biological, radiological unit. And they blamed him for launching chemical attacks in Ukraine. It was his responsibility. And so they assassinated him as a military target. And that's what they claimed. It was a legitimate military target because he's responsible for chemical weapons being used. Whether this character is, I mean, he's in the General Directorate. It would be odd if he was operationally involved, but he's certainly a senior general. And Ukraine so far hasn't said anything. But when bombs go off in people's cars, you assume that the assassins know what they're doing. And the fact that the Moscow Criminal Investigations Department have announced it as a clear assassination, not just an unexplained death or a car problem. They've made this announcement. They've issued these pictures. That's the first time I've seen
footage,
them.
Isn't it?
I read that I read a few minutes ago that they'd issued some pictures. That obviously is the one. So that's interesting that they are saying, yeah, this looks like an assassination. Whether the Ukrainians would claim it and then give a reason why this person was chosen, we'll have to see.
All right, so that's very much a developing story there. Meanwhile, Donald Trump's special envoy, Steve Witkoff, has arrived in Moscow for peace talks. The Russians say that things are moving in the right direction, but that suggests that they're moving away from the place that Ukraine wants them to go. Yes,
I mean, they're moving in the right direction for Russia's point of view. And undoubtedly, we're at some sort of end game now, certainly from President Trump's point of view. It's the end game for him because he's not going to stick with this for very much longer. And we know it's 44 days since President Zelensky of Ukraine said, I agree an unconditional ceasefire in land, sea and air. He agreed it 44 days ago. So far, the Russians are still saying, well, there's more details, we've got to work on it. And Lavrov this morning was reported saying to an American news network, well, we're close, but we've still got things to do. The Russians are running this on because we're all pretty clear. They don't want a ceasefire. They think they've got more to gain on the battlefield. But they want the Americans to run out of patience and blame Zelensky. And so they're creating conditions which may be put to Zelensky in what I term a suicide pact. I mean, here is a peace deal, but it's suicide for you. Take it or leave it. The Ukrainians will say, no, we just can't accept that. There does seem to be a willingness in public opinion in Ukraine, with all the pain and the weariness of this war, there seems to be a willingness to fight on if there is no alternative. And that seems to be what they think. So if they say, no, we can't accept it, then the Americans walk away. Things then get much worse for Ukraine, but the war would go on.